Hello, fellow gamers, and welcome to the Video Gamers Podcast. The Nintendo Direct is looming. Well, okay, by the time this episode releases, it's already happened. Doom the Dark Ages is making a strong push to unseat Expedition 33 on my hype meter at least, and Metroid Prime 4 will let you open doors. We've got a lot to cover, but first, some introductions are in order. I am your host, Josh, and joining me, he's been dreaming about setting up his own unsanctioned medicine empire and watching reruns of Breaking Bad to prepare. It's Ryan.
You can, what should my color be? I can't be Mr. White, obviously. So, like, make me Mr.
I
Tan.
don't know, Ryan. Mr.
Mr. Light Tan.
Tan is a color, I guess, right?
My favorite color is
You're
light
Mr.
tan.
Red, bro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And joining us, he's really just here for the Nintendo Direct chat, and he's already doubled down on a Switch 2 Red Dead Redemption 2 port. It's John.
Hey, everybody. I got my Diet Cock and Bull here. This episode brought to you by Cock and Bull. Cock and Bull.
Wait a minute.
Oh, God.
It's a chicken and a cow.
Wait.
Are we getting proceeds from this?
I'm working on it.
Okay. All right. That's for all you advertisers out there that would like to advertise with this podcast.
I'm just thinking of the smoke coming out of a Switch trying to run Red Dead.
Yeah.
It just would...
John also mentioned Elden Ring in a little text message to us, and I kind of went, Elden Ring on the Switch is... I feel like I'd go blind. That thing better have a bigger screen, man.
I think that's just your age.
Yeah, we'll get to it, but I mean, the Joy-Cons or whatever they're calling them are like 20% bigger, so the screen's probably 20%. I don't know.
The Drift Cons?
Yeah.
Drift Cons, yeah.
Guys, we got a lot to cover. This is another great week for video game news. Again, the Nintendo Direct, we're going to make some predictions today. And then people that are listening are going to be like, you guys are idiots, man. You didn't get any of those right.
Yep.
But we're gonna throw out a couple predictions as to what we think we might see or things that we hope we see from the Nintendo Direct as well. But as promised, guys, we've got another quick question from one of our Epic supporters here that we're going to start off with. This one comes in from Technophile75, and I like this one, man. It's a little more on the technical side, but, I like these kind of questions here, too. So he asks, what are your thoughts on the new DLSS 4 and the use of AI in frame generation? So, Ryan, why don't you go ahead and explain frame generation and DLSS and what that stands for in 20 seconds? Go.
This guy. Yeah, I know what you're doing. I will say, because I was reading it and I'm looking at this stuff, I'm like, oh, geez, I better kind of at least look a little bit into what this all means and what this stuff is. Normally, I'm just like, that one's expensive. Plug it into the rig. It's good to go, But I was looking at this stuff, and so with this AI, like frame rate generation and stuff, I was reading and I put it in the chat right before we started. 15 of the 16 frames will be AI generated. So, take that, however way you want. Either that's going to kind of bog things down and make it look weird. Because you know how sometimes with AI design, like it can make crazy stuff and things that are really kind of wild and creative and detailed, but also not everything looks right all the time. And when you're relying that much on not just standard performance in generation from the hardware itself, and you're using AI to kind of replace that, it leaves a little room for error if the way I'm looking at it, at least.
All right. You failed on that explanation, Ryan.
What?
John?
I
wasn't really going to explain. I was giving my opinion.
This is what you get for slamming GoldenEye, Ryan.
Oh, I'm going to pay for that for a while.
I can't comment on the technology specifically, but I'm a bit conflicted on the use of it. So the humanist in me is concerned. I like probably anybody else, and especially people that are in the industry, is like, if you follow this thing to its logical end, all I'm seeing is a lot of lost jobs. But the gamer in me, and especially the part of me that so wants to have as much of my humanity torn away from me as possible, like, and plug into the machine, I think that any AI advancement that brings us closer to the Matrix and or Ready Player One or whichever iteration you want to call it is like fine by me. So
yeah, bow to the AI overlords.
Yep.
So real quick, because I love tech, and so to explain what this technology is for people, this is basically rendering. I'll call it software, even though it's the hardware that does this and processes this. So DLSS is deep learning super sampling. What this does is it downscales your resolution so that it's easier to render on your console or your PC. And then it does this artificial AI upscaling. So this is what is going to say, hey, I'm rendering this game at a lower resolution, which is very easy for a graphics card. And then the AI brain kicks in and upscales it into your 2K or 4K resolutions. So this is a good way to improve frames per second. That's really all this comes down to. There is a lot of talk that it's like, hey, well, this is kind of cheating and there's a loss of visual quality and stuff like that. We've gotten better at this, and we now have this stuff called frame generation, where to even boost frames per second higher, the AI basically looks at your screen and goes, yeah, I can kind of see what's on here. Let me insert these artificial frames into your game to improve your frames per second even more. I have played around with this a lot because, again, I love technology and I have a higher end graphics card that can actually do this kind of stuff. I will say that I do think that there is a world where DLSS can drastically improve things for people. I am not one of these people that can tell the difference in the minute graphical quality that's like, oh, you're losing some of this fidelity and stuff like that. The frame generation stuff, I can tell because it looks artificial to me. Do you guys remember when TVs came out with like the 120 hertz black frame insertion?
I know exactly. And it looked like cheap European TV.
It looked like soap operas.
Yeah.
Like literally everything looked like a soap opera.
Yeah.
And our brains kind of went, this doesn't look natural, dude. That's the same technology, basically. So in a nutshell, I don't hate it, but I get that some people would not like it. But for most gamers, all we care about is a smooth experience. And so I think that the technology makes sense. You always have the option of turning it off. I should say that a few games lately have just relied on it completely, and gamers have gotten upset by that. But gamers will get upset over anything, guys. So
This is the truth. Yeah,
It's also important. It's also important to acknowledge that this is a step in that direction. Whatever you're experiencing that, or somebody might be experiencing that feels like off-putting or whatever, like it's going to fix, and it will be fixed and smoother and more pleasant to experience very soon.
yeah, the last thing I'll say on this, because we got a lot to cover, is the main complaint from a lot of people is that this is just making developers lazy. So because instead of making a game efficient and optimized and things like that, they can just rely on this technology to make their game better. And there is some proven loss of quality with using some of this technology. So it's kind of like, if you just make your game the right way and optimize it, we don't need to rely on this stuff. So I get why people are concerned, but for the most part, I think gamers do benefit from this stuff. So, but you also have to have a higher end graphics card to be able to do that, which kind of makes it a moot point.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to use this stuff because I have, a pretty much a top of the line graphics card. So it's like, I don't really get the thinking that this is limited to those two. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. But again, we all love frames per second, right? So.
Yep.
All right. Hey, listen, if you have a question for the show that you would like us to answer, there is a very easy way you can do that. You can head over to multiplayersquad.com. You can sign up for our epic tier. And if you do that, not only will you get an awesome shout out on the show, but you do get to ask a question that we will answer at the top of an episode as well. So, guys, we got a lot of gaming chat, to cover. I get because I'm the host, I'm just going to start off with Doom, the Dark Ages, boys. Oh my gosh. Okay. Have either one of you played Doom Eternal?
No.
Okay, I've said this many times. Doom Eternal is one of the best single-player first-person experiences that you can have. This game is bananas, dude. And every time I see one of our listeners or somebody in our Discord community pick it up and start playing it, they always say the same thing. Oh my gosh, this game's great. It just flows so well. It's like I'm dancing. It's a ballet of destruction, and the game just builds on itself layer after layer before you know it. By the end of the game, you're grapple hooking everywhere. You're flying around. You're switching weapons on the fly, and you're wrecking, fantastical demons. I am a huge fan of Doom Eternal. If you've played it, you understand, but it is pretty much the pinnacle of that first-person shooter experience as far as just the flow of the game and stuff like that. Doom: The Dark Ages. We covered this before. We said, dude, the motto for this one is stand and fight. You have this saw-toothed shield. You're this big tanky, the Doom Slayer in this armor. This takes place way before like a lot of the Doom games, I guess, or something like that. So it's like a prequel in a sense. I thought this looked absolutely freaking incredible as a fan of the Doom series. What did you guys think?
Dude, so I played old school Doom, original, Doom back in the day, and some of the newer stuff, but nothing kind of in the last, 10, 15 years or so. And I'm pretty excited, man.
Yeah.
Like it's, I know you've screamed from the rooftops for years about it, and I haven't had a chance to get to Eternal and whatnot. But like this game, and I know from everything else we've looked at previously, I was excited before, and the hype meter just keeps going up. It's one of those where every little drip they give you, you're like, yeah, more, I want more. And it keeps getting you more and more excited, more and more hooked on it. And you're excited and ready for it to release so you can enjoy, the game in all its glory. So I'm stoked, man. Like I said, everything we see is just raising that hype meter. So I can't wait.
It looks cool.
But
I have just enough bandwidth for one shielded protagonist. And this is
boy.
My loyalty is always with Captain America, and I just became aware of another game called Marvel Cosmic Invasion that's like an old school like arcade style beat 'em up that looks awesome, and that's where I'm going to be spending my shield time, gentlemen. You will have to let me know how Doom is.
Yeah. Oh, I will. Don't you worry.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I get Doom. Doom is not really John's type of game. He definitely, prefers a little bit more of that chill kind of aspect and
Grandpa
like
games.
That. Yeah. Well, not grandpa, but just story based. And there's not much story.
You
in
can't
Doom,
walk on a treadmill and play Doom, dude. You're gonna be jumping all over. You're gonna fall off.
Yeah.
Like it's dangerous. That's a hazard.
Yeah, I tried it with Halo and it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I think you talk about that drip, Ryan. They kind of turned the faucet on for this one. Some of the things that really stood out to me are, number one, the shield gameplay is incredible. You have to parry these different attacks, like the bullets from the demons come out green sometimes, and if it's green, you can parry it and shoot it back at them. They showed you piloting. So for anybody that's played Doom Eternal, they showed you piloting the gigantic mechs that fight the gigantic demons. So there was a whole segment of this preview where you get to be in one of those and you're just punching this 20-story tall demon, and then you get these guns that like a Gatling gun that's huge. I mean, this game's so over the top. You're riding a cybernetic dragon at one point.
That's the word, over the top, dude. When you're playing these shooter games and you get that heavy weapon, but they don't come along often. You're like, yeah, this is awesome. That's this whole game.
Yes.
That's the whole game. You're just running around just with heavy weapons, just destroying everything. But in a fluid motion. Dude, it's wild. I'm excited.
John, you know how excited I have been, and I am, for Expedition 33. But this preview legitimately was tugging on Expedition 33, being like, yeah, I don't know if you can hold on to that number one spot now, man.
It looks really cool. You may convince me it looks really cool. There's just so many good games coming out, guys. I mean,
yeah,
I gotta pick and choose.
This one is absolutely, I'm playing Doom: The Dark Ages. There's no way that anything in the world could stop me from playing this one. So if you haven't seen this preview, check it out, because it's pretty mind-blowing. And I don't know that I've gotten more excited from watching a game trailer and just going I knew I wanted to play this game, but oh my goodness, this touched on everything that I could want from this next game in the Doom series. So we have... Guys, every now and then a game comes along that really just shocks the world. You know, the internet becomes a buzz where everybody is like, did you hear about this game? Are you playing this game? Pal World was a good example of that. Lethal Company, when it came out, you just hear so many people talking about it that you're like, I can't ignore it. I cannot ignore this game.
Yeah.
And there is a game that is out right now that, you know, is like my buddy at work. It literally came into work. He's a gamer, and he said, "Josh, have you heard of this game?" And I said, "Yeah, I absolutely have. I've heard of this game." And he said, "I played it all weekend with some buddies of mine. It's really fun, dude." And I think the chatter is on point. And I was just like, man, we've been talking about covering this game as well, and I've been hearing really incredible things. We're going to tell you what that game is right after this break. All right. So this game has dethroned Monster Hunter Wilds, guys, in its first couple weeks of release. It has a higher concurrent player count than Monster Hunter Wilds, which is a gargantuan franchise and release. This is a game called Schedule 1. This game sounds like the stupidest premise ever. But before we actually talk about that premise, let me just hit you with the Steam ratings on this game. This game is sitting at a 98% Steam rating.
Unheard of. With
33,000 reviews. This is not like 500
Jeez.
people found this game to be really enjoyable. This is a 98% rating, 33,000 reviews. Schedule 1 sounds bananas. Ryan, tell the people, like, what do you do in this game, dude?
Dude, so have you ever wanted to, and disclaimer, we do not support and encourage any of these actions that go on in this video game at the Video Gamers Podcast.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that, Ryan?
You sure about that? So have you ever wanted to create your own meth lab? Well, you know what? In Schedule 1, you can. So if your dreams were that, then you can run your drug empire. I just it looks like such an interesting, neat like premise on just the way these all kind of run along the same. You know, we have Repo, we have Lethal Company, we have all these types of games where you have to go do something, you have some sort of task, you have to get money, things cost money, and rinse and repeat. You know, it's just how they execute it, and they've all been doing it pretty, you know, in a fun way that is entertaining. And this one just seems to be that next level to where now you're doing it. The goofier they make it, the more crazy and outlandish they make it, the better it seems to be. And this one just seems to hit all those marks. I mean, you were talking about beating Monster Wild, 414,000 players on its peak player at a 24-hour current count. Like that's insane. That's Monster Hunter Wilds was at 283. So it's like what, 130-ish thousand, you know, more? Like that's like a normal NFL stadium is what, like 60, 70,000 people, if that. Like that's two completely full stadiums more than Monster Hunter Wilds of people playing this small little game that, you know, nobody knew about. And you say like, "Oh, yeah, I heard about this game." You see this game because every single reel or YouTube short or everything is all people playing this game. It's nonstop, and it just looks like dumb, stupid, illegal fun. I was just gonna say illegal fun.
John, have you seen? I mean, I'm assuming you've seen the trailers.
I am absolutely so completely indifferent to this game. I could care less about this game. I could not care less. I don't care about the topic of the game. The graphics of the game look ugly to me. You guys, this will be another one you enjoy without me. Boomer John's going to be rocking in his chair on his porch, shaking his fist at this game for
Dude,
as
I'm
long
gonna be
as it,
so rich, getting tattoos and like buying them. Oh man, it's gonna be awesome.
So the premise of you touched on it, Ryan, but the whole premise of this game is you are living Breaking Bad, basically.
Yeah.
So if you ever thought, hey, I bet I could build a drug empire, I bet I could manufacture these drugs, I bet I could grow these drugs, I bet I could set up distributors and avoid the law and all that stuff, this is exactly what this game does. You play it with buddies. I'm talking to my buddy at work. He said this game would not be nearly as fun without playing it with friends, which is, that's a lot of games. But, that is the premise of this game. You can buy a house and, decorate your house and buy a lab and try to get efficient and things like that. I will say I'm with John. The graphics on this remind me of like a Roblox game. There are some really funny parts that I have seen. I've seen some funny reels where it's like you sell some drugs to somebody and then their eyes turn blood red and they go staggering away or something like that. Kudos to the solo dev on this because this guy's filthy rich at this point.
Oh, yeah.
But this to me seems like one of those games that, yes, I absolutely believe it is probably a ton of stinking fun, but it's probably a flash in the pan as well. Are we going to be hearing about Schedule 1 in 3 weeks? I highly doubt it, but it's only $19.99. If you're up for a really good time with your buddies, I'm sure you're going to laugh and things like that. It's probably well worth the money to see. I know that we get FOMO. I mean, we're gamers, dude. Ryan, we've been talking about picking this game up and playing it because we're like, well, if it's that fun, I don't want to miss out on this.
Dude, join the Empire. Ace already got it, so I'm going to play. You can join our trap house and we can go.
Yeah.
We can go from there.
This is for $20. I think you're going to absolutely get your entertainment value out of this game.
Yeah, it's a movie ticket.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And so I think it's very low risk, especially with a rating like this.
What was the other one we were with the pictures? I don't remember the name.
That was Headliners.
Headliners, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like
similar in a
$8.
lot of ways, yeah.
Yeah, these games are simple. They're dumb fun. You have a great time with them, and then you just move on. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think there's a reason that you see these games being so prevalent. You can make a ton of money if you hit on one of these. I mean, and then the people don't complain because it's a simple premise game. So gamers don't get all snooty about it and be like, oh, it's so dumb. I can't do this in this game because it's like, it's just meant to be fun, dude. That's all it's meant to be, So again, legal disclaimer, we don't support any of the activities that you may or may not perform in Schedule 1. But if you want to have a good time, it seems like that is a good opportunity for you. All right, guys, let's talk about Metroid Prime 4. Now, I mean, you talk about a mega franchise that has a very rabid fan base, myself included. I love the Metroid games. I mean, I grew up playing Metroid, the very, very initial Metroidvania. It started all of the, that genre. This is a game that if you grew up playing Nintendo, you understand it. GameCube, Nintendo 64, there's been all these iterations of the Metroid series. And, we got the announcement about Metroid Prime 4 months ago. And then recently we got this gameplay overview trailer for it where we got kind of a little bit more of an in-depth look at it. I have thoughts on this, but I'm going to save those because I want to hear from John because, John, you are a Nintendo fan. You love your Switch.
Love Nintendo.
You like Nintendo games.
Yep.
What is your opinion of Metroid Prime 4 from what you've seen?
From what I've seen, it looks really good. I will admit, and you touched on this, but I love Nintendo properties. I love Nintendo as a brand. I admire I admire their ingenuity with the way they approach titles and games, and I love that they have done a really good job of maintaining exclusivity and quality exclusivity of IPs. Metroid is a blind spot for me, man. I haven't played a Metroid game in a really long time. This may change it for me. I'm really excited about the Switch 2. So assuming that this is a, hopefully pretty close to launch title for Switch 2, I would absolutely pick it up. But right now I am somewhat excited about it. There's other games that I'm more excited for.
Yeah. Ryan, have you played it? Because you might be with John, if I remember right. I don't know if you've played a lot of the Metroid games.
I have not played a lot of the Metroid games. I've never been I've never been a big Nintendo guy. I'll play some of the big titles. I like Zelda and some of the other stuff. This to me, it looked like an old PS3 game with some cool mechanic stuff. Like I'm oh neat. Like you can control this thing with her lever and then you can control your missiles now and direct them the way. I'm like, that's cool. That's not going to make me play this game. I'm sure people who love this IP are going to be amped up. And I'm not a Metroid hater. I wouldn't say I'm a fan. I'm just like John was. I'm indifferent. Like it's, cool. Good for them. It doesn't look like anything to me. So I don't know. It's just one of those that it's not hitting any marks that pique my interest. But I'm sure people will like it.
So I like the Metroid series. The most recent one I played was Metroid Dread on the Switch. I thought that was a neat take. It kind of had this creepy, slightly more horror aspect. You know, you were being stalked by these unkillable robots, so to speak. There was really neat boss fights. You know, I thought it was a very fun video game. I really didn't have any major issues with it. There was a couple of complaints I had, but that, you know, it was a great game in my opinion. So this is not to slander Metroid Prime 4. This is to slander the trailer that we got for Metroid Prime 4. Guys, I don't know that I have seen a more stupid trailer in my life for such a major IP. You know, they're showing it off. It's, you know, you've got the first person perspective on this one. That's kind of the gist for the Prime series for Metroid. You're walking around these beautiful forests that are all just muddied and dull looking because the graphics suck for the Nintendo Switch, you know, and then they get into the hook of Metroid Prime 4, and it's that Samus gets these psychic abilities. There's something magical on this planet. You're on Pandora from Avatar, basically, is what they're trying to say. Mm-hmm. And it's like Samus getting psychic abilities on top of her suit and her rockets and all this stuff. And then they go on to show you this stupid little totem with this little glowing ball on a door where you reach out to it and you use your psychic ability to open doors. That is literally the line from the trailer. Is use your newly discovered psychic abilities to open doors. Like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, are you kidding me?
It's a big miss.
This is the best you can come up with, Nintendo?
Big miss.
Like, is this an intern that you had make the Metroid Prime 4 trailer? Like, come on, man.
It's wild, dude. It's like, in a world where doors are no longer opened by your hands, use your psychic abilities. Coming this fall. You know?
I'm just baffled, dude.
You know, I feel like now that I'm reflecting on it in Star Wars, isn't that like 90% of what they use the Force for? Is to like open doors and push things aside slightly.
Yeah. I'm not saying I wouldn't use my psychic abilities to open doors. I just mean this is what we showed off in this trailer, guys.
It's not the showcase. Make it big and fantastical. You know, in a comedy movie, they're going to show you, you know, in the trailer, the 2 or 3 mostly funniest parts of the movie to get people to show up.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. And so you got to show the hits. And if this is what's supposed to sell this game, they missed the mark, you know.
The shooting looked bland to me. It looked like it had no impact whatsoever. I get that they're not going to show off every, you know, weapon that she gets, but the shooting looked very, very plain to me. The big highlight for them in the shooting was that you can guide your shots, and it showed it slow down the game, and then you hit one creature, and then you aimed it over to the other creature. And I'm like, this looks dumb because these creatures don't look like they're hard to kill anyway. Am I just slowing down the pace of the game at this point? Look. Again, I am not saying that I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be a crappy game. I'm just saying whoever made this trailer, somebody needs to watch these things and go, is this really the best we got, guys?
Where's quality control?
Is this what we want to show the world? I'm sorry to whatever intern was forced to make that trailer.
You're going to get somebody fired, dude.
I know. I apologize. So.
Just out of curiosity, have you guys been following what the chatter is on it? Like what the general consensus is?
It's not great is the thing. That's the thing. I remember saying this exact same thing about Hogwarts Legacy, right? We saw a really good looking trailer for Hogwarts Legacy, and then we saw a really bad looking trailer for Hogwarts Legacy. And I responded pretty much the exact same way where I went, what the heck is this trailer? I'm very hopeful that this is just a bad trailer. I mean, we all loved Hogwarts Legacy, fantastic game. But man, it's funny. I don't see a lot of people talking about Metroid Prime 4 right now. Maybe it's that we don't have a release date. Maybe it's just we haven't really seen a whole lot. Or maybe it's just that they're not doing a very good job of hyping people up for this game either.
They're all making drugs in Schedule 1.
Yeah.
I will say the silver lining might be that if there is some big public response that they will have the opportunity to correct, like we've seen with a lot of other games like Cyberpunk and Final Fantasy 14 and stuff. I think that studios are doing a good job of responding to things, especially with big important properties. So I don't know.
Man.
We'll see.
This is Nintendo. I don't think Nintendo listens to their fans at all, man. You know,
listen.
Here's the thing. This game's going to sell 1 million copies no matter what. I mean, it's got the Metroid name on it, so no matter what, people are going to buy it. It's going to sell. Nintendo's probably going to make their money. But I don't know that I've seen a trailer that's got me less excited than
if Nintendo listened to their fans, they'd have a good Pokemon game.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
And honestly, that is exactly the truth, man. So Pal World did it, and then they're geting sued by Nintendo because Nintendo went, hey, we're the only ones that can make bad games around here. You can't go making a good Nintendo game on us. So, all right. Speaking of Nintendo, boys, we're going to get to a couple Nintendo Direct predictions, but we have to talk about Ghost of Yotei.
Yeah.
And John, John's excited. Look at him. He's like, dude, I don't care about Metroid Prime. I don't care about Doom. I'm not playing Schedule 1, but Ghost of Yotei, what?
Man. Yeah, so for anybody listening, I am playing Ghost of Tsushima right now. I missed it when it came out on the PS4, and it's been in my backlog forever. And it's been one of those games where I've always wanted to tackle it, but I've just put it off for whatever reason. New games, new confetti just keeps manifesting itself in front of me. Man, what a great game. It's like every minute I get further into this game, I get sucked deeper into it. And Josh and I were talking briefly offline before the show, and it's just been such a long time since I've had a game that is completely capturing my attention like this. And I can't wait for Ghost of Yotei now. I had the opportunity to go to Japan with my best friend CJ last year, and this is just giving me such wanderlust. Like every time I encounter a new vista, every time that gust of wind shuttles me in the right direction, or I reflect in an onsen, it's just got my heart right now, and I cannot wait for Ghost of Yotei.
Yeah, when we saw this trailer and Ghost of Yotei was announced, we all went, "Oh my goodness, it's about time!" Like, how has it taken this long to get a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima? I'm a little jealous, John, that you're actually getting to experience Ghost of Tsushima for like the first time, like legitimately. And so it's really neat that we get this announcement. And so the announcement is basically that Ghost of Yotei has been confirmed for 2025. There's a tiny bit of like a snippet of story that we got where, it's basically saying like, hey, the protagonist is upset because people raided her village and razed her village, and now she's upset and she's going to enact revenge. There's a lot of speculation on some of the game mechanics, like she's going to be doing bounties because they mentioned that there are a plethora of odd jobs for her to do so that she can make money to enact her revenge. And then, of course, people take that and they go, "Ooh, there's going to be bounties." We don't know a whole lot about that. The main takeaway is that it is planned for a 2025 release. Dude, 2025 is shaping up to be a heck of a year, guys.
Banger of a year.
And I remember 2024 at the end going, I don't really know how 2025 is going to be able to top this, man. But dude, it looks like it's topping it, like in all honesty.
I feel like every year we're like, man, it doesn't look like it's going to be too good. I don't know what it's going to shape up to be. And then every time it's like, whoa, where'd this come from? Oh, where'd this come from? Every few months.
Do you remember the year that It Takes Two won Game of the Year? Like, we do get those down years, but I think we're in a couple of really, really good years right now, so we might be spoiled a little bit, too. So,
do you guys want to hear a little fun fact about Ghost of Tsushima, too, this franchise?
Yeah,
so recently we've had two big sort of samurai titles come out. One is Ghost of Tsushima, obviously, and Assassin's Creed Shadow would be the other one. And Assassin's Creed Shadow's Ubisoft game, lots of publicity. Did you know that Ghost of Tsushima has sold 10 times the physical copies that Assassin's Creed Shadows did in Japan?
Oh my goodness.
Really? In Japan?
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, like, the Japanese audience does not seem to be like Assassin's Creed Valhalla outsold Assassin's Creed Shadows in Japan.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, they've had a lot of longer time though for Tsushima.
Yeah, but the physical copies sell, like the grand majority of the sales happen in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And
very
so
true.
so like everything you see after that, like you'll know pretty quick
Well, how it's gonna
how it's gonna
shape
pan
out.
out. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, real
It's
quick,
almost-
I did this, and it's just totally, absolutely not Chat GPT at all. But I made a haiku for you, John, for your first playthrough of Ghost of Tsushima. John rides through the fog. Samurai blade meets silence. Ghost in moonlit fog.
You used fog twice there. So
Okay,
that's kind of
I will
haiku,
say it was Chat
you know?
GPT,
Yeah.
so blame it on Chat GPT.
Oh,
I literally,
man.
I
It's
brought.
like there's fog in the first line, there's fog in the third line. What's going on
I'm
here?
not gonna lie, I didn't pre-read it. I just typed it in and just read it right there, pretty quick. So that you can blame that on there. But
I have a haiku for you, Ryan.
there you go.
Ryan is so wrong. Like patch notes that nerf my main, pain forevermore.
Ooh,
That would imply that John has a main in a hero shooter, which we also know is not true.
This
so
is not
we're just getting lies all over the place here, man. What is happening?
whatever.
Oh,
You don't even
goodness.
have a haiku. You can't come up with anything.
Dude, because I refuse to use AI to come up with a haiku is why.
A man
So-
of principles, I see.
Yeah, exactly. I respect the art form, guys.
Anyway, let's go make some drugs.
Oh man, we're gonna name our drug empire haiku.
We're drawing some weird,
I love
drawing
it.
some weird lines here, guys.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, guys, real quick because we're running out of time. Nintendo Direct predictions. All right. I'm gonna throw out one because I know we've been hopeful, but not to be a buzzkill. We are not gonna hear anything about Silk Song at Nintendo Direct.
I think you're safe there. I think it continues to be a radio silence.
Yep.
Why you
My-
gotta do that to me, man?
I'm sorry, Ryan.
My safe bet would be Mario Kart is a launch title.
Ooh.
Go figure. Nintendo just overusing a franchise for what is this, like the 9th or 10th iteration? This would be Mario Kart 9 officially.
Yep.
But don't they have some kind of like offshoot Mario Karts where it's like been little side games? I don't know. I'm so sick. Look, we pick on Ubisoft about this, but Nintendo, it's your turn. Mario Kart 9 is going to be the same as Mario Kart 8, which was the same as Mario Kart 7, which was the same as Mario Kart 6, 5, 4, 3. And I'm sure at some point somebody went, ooh, like, how can you say that, Josh? We got Rainbow Road in Mario Kart 6. How dare you? Dude, they're all the same. They're
are.
all the same games. And if we pick on Ubisoft about making the exact same game over and over again, then you know what? You're not immune either, Nintendo, because stop it. Make a new game,
Yeah.
And
Why?
as
They're
I
just
say that,
passionate. They're just raking in money on
I
all this
know.
old IP.
and as I say that, please give us a brand new Mario 3D game.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Oh, that's great.
Oh man. So okay. Any other predictions?
I would like a new Smash Bros.
Ooh. See, that's
That
one
would
I'm
be-
not sure of, man. I don't know if that. Like, we've seen a lot of failures. Multiverses and some of these other games that are trying to kind of mimic that have not done well lately.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if Nintendo's willing to risk the burnout on that particular type of game or not.
It's been, how many years has it been? Like
I don't know.
6, 7 years?
I don't
or
play
something
Smash
like that?
Bros. I like real fighting games.
I
Yeah.
could very I'm with you, Josh. But I could very easily see it. That seems like a bankable property.
I
And
mean,
this-
it's for sure been over 5 years, and with a new system to launch to get all the, all the homies in on some Smash Bros. Like, I think it's a good launch.
I don't think they want to expend all of their repeatable IP like right out of the gate.
Yeah.
But I mean, it seems pretty safe. It's still very popular, and like a Mario Kart, I actually have a soft spot for Mario Party, but like a Mario Kart, there's probably not a lot that they would have to do to enhance the game to justify a new title. Add some more characters and some new levels and stuff. But like all the core mechanics and infrastructure for the game exist and probably are still good.
This is my problem. A couple new levels and a couple new characters. It's the same game.
It's like buying Madden every year.
Game, and then they just call it like Super Mega Smash Bros. And then everybody's gonna lose their minds. And
hey man,
you know,
it works
like,
for John Wick, brother.
That's
we
true.
will not accept any John Wick slander on this podcast. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Oh,
I
man.
do have. I don't know if you would call this a prediction, but I would love to see a proper remake of the first two Kingdom Hearts games. Those are games that have been, again, perpetually in my backlog because the dialogue stuff, like I just can't read that much text on screen, but I would love to see a proper redo of those. And Switch 2 seems like that seems like a good format for it. For me.
I know the Kingdom Heart games are beloved by a lot of people. They are iconic to a lot of people. Those are games that I will just never experience in my lifetime. I don't know why, but it's just my brain has I like mixing Disney characters with like this
Squaresoft
stuff. It doesn't compute for me, man. Like I don't know why, and I know there's people that are going like, Josh, you have no idea what you're saying right now.
You don't know how OP Donald Duck is, bro.
I mean, apparently Donald Duck cast the most deadly spell in the universe or something like that would make Doctor Strange jealous. I don't know. It's very weird lore. I can't wrap my head around it. I hope for the Kingdom Hearts fans and you, John, that maybe they do announce something like that. But it's such a blind spot for me that I'm content to just be blind on. I'll make one more prediction. I think we will get the announcement of a 3D Mario title to go along with the Switch 2. I think Nintendo is smart enough to understand that they need some sort of mega draw or mega game to announce with the Switch 2. And they're going to rely on the Mario franchise because we had Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which was a huge success. And so I think now they're going to say, hey, it's Mario's turn. Let's give the people a brand new 3D Mario game. So
they got a lot to choose from too. So
yeah, that seems bad. If not Mario, like certainly not Link. If not Mario, then what? I mean, it has to be.
Please don't be Donkey Kong, dude. I've seen some chatter about Donkey. Listen, I like the Donkey Kong games, man. My wife and I have played almost every Donkey Kong game that has been released. Donkey Kong is fine, but he's not like a console selling type of character.
Agreed.
He is a side character in the Nintendo franchise. I hate to be like the contrarian on this, but it's like, don't try to give us a Donkey Kong game and then be like, look, guys, you're getting a Donkey Kong. Cause I'm going to be like, what the heck, man? You couldn't even give us a Mario or a Zelda? Like, come on.
Come on.
Yeah, come on, man. All right. Oh, man, these episodes are getting off the rails here. All right, listen, that's it. We're out of stuff to talk about. We're out of time. Well, actually, we got way more we could talk about, but we're out of time, so we're going to wrap this one up. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Listen, if we sound like complete and total idiots because we whiffed on every prediction, or thought imaginable, we did that on purpose just to make it entertaining. Yeah. And if we got any of these right, that's because we are absolute video game geniuses. And then we'll make sure that we point to this episode and point out that, we got everything right at the same time. So, that's the beauty of this is we have evidence. So. All right, listen, thank you for joining us, everybody. Remember, if you haven't done so already, please take a second to follow the podcast in your podcast app. It's a plus button or a follow button on Spotify or Apple. You know what? Tell a friend, man. If every single one of our listeners got one person to listen to this podcast, we would double in size overnight. That sounds pretty crazy. So, and then all it takes is just one person. You listening right now, tell somebody, hey, listen to the Video Gamers Podcast. Boom. That's all you got to do. And it helps out immensely. So, and again, if you would like to support this podcast and what we do, you can head over to multiplayersquad.com. Take a look at the options there. We'll give you a shout out on the show. We give you some awesome perks. You get to join our Discord community. The link is in the episode description. You get perks there as well. But it's an awesome community. So that's going to do it for this episode, everybody. Until next time, happy gaming.
See ya.
Toodaloo.